And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Anthony Picente Jr. is our guest. He's the county executive, and we're talking about the Utica Memorial Auditorium, the Adirondack Bank Center at Utica Memorial Auditorium, and the Nexus Center. Where do you see, you were sitting in that chair, I forget when it was, but you had a vision that you explained for that entire area of downtown Utica. How does this fit into that?
This is a huge piece, and I think it really complements the anchor that the Adirondack Bank Center is. We always looked at that arena as the anchor of that area because of, especially with what we have invested in it to make it so much more special today than it was, 5, 6 years ago. So when you look at that area and you look at what can be and what is being developed, I really envision that area as a sports, arts, and entertainment district. Because I believe when you look at different cities and how they break apart, I mean, that area in itself can be a great arts, culture, entertainment, all wrapped up into one in the corridor from the Aud all the way to Bag Square. Really can be an area of, and connecting to Varick Street on the west end. So you really just keep coming, and the way the walkways have been put in now with the arterial project really makes a connection for all of that. So that could be a hub for big venues like the Aud, like Nexus, what has taken place in other cities. Originally, I proposed a casino. I still think that could be a major piece of the footprint in that regard, and for attracting people. We talked about a craft beer museum and experience. The governor put more money into his budget for more craft beer breweries and around the state, and more of the welcome centers that he has proposed, like the Finger Lakes with wine and beer. I believe that could be an area. We have a lot of land there. The mayor is talking about connecting. We talked about the harbor area, which is, you don't realize it, it's right behind the Aud. It just needs a connection. I think we can make that connection together, and that harbor can be another catalyst for more growth. We've got hotels down there. So when you tie all these areas in, and I mean, that could be the center of excitement and entertainment for this community, for this county.
One of the things that I notice when I go to the hockey games or to an event at the Adirondack Bank Center is you always have to have police officers out there because you're crossing a very busy street going in there. And there's always a couple of UPD officers there. Is that a hindrance? Is that an obstacle? Is that a challenge?
Well, it's a challenge anywhere. I mean, you're always going to have that, especially when you're in an urban area like the Aud is set. But as the improvements are placed on Oriskany Street and 5S, the connection that they're currently working on as we speak, to narrow that, to provide more walkways, it'll be safer as we go forward. That should be done in 2020, and as we go forward with the hospital project and other amenities down there, it'll make that a much more safer haven as we cross. And remember, you won't have as much people crossing because the parking is going to have to be on the backside now, more of the Aud and to the garage that we intend on building for those events, because the hospital is going to take up a part of that center core of that downtown. So with that, there's a realignment of parking lots and parking availability for what happens at the Aud, and so it'll be safer.
Do you ever see a proposal to put a walkway over Oriskany Boulevard?
I think it's possible. I think think multiple things are possible, whether it's that way or across, on one section just to get across the street. I think it really depends on how everything shakes out in the future. But clearly, I think we have to look at what is the safest piece for our constituents, and in terms of maneuvering through those. Whether it's at the hospital, whether it's at the Aud, whether it's the police station, whether it's all the pieces that are around downtown there, a walkway could be envisioned, or another safer way to get across through
I was
the other side.
I was thinking about when Union Station. In fact, if we get a second later on in the show, maybe we can talk about Union Station. An overhead walkway was put in there.
It was.
And it was not inexpensive.
No, it's not. That's the other thing. You want to make sure, because those are very costly, because they have to be very secure and very safe. And even with the walkway, we had a little train incident a couple of years ago, you remember, which the strength of that walkway was that while that train hit that structure, it did not compromise the walkway at all, although we closed it for safety's sake. Yeah. It did not compromise or in any way danger that, so that's good engineering. And whatever you do has to be safe, and it's different today. The walkways of the past that were simply that are now much more sturdy and can be done. That's not a far distance either, so it can be something that can be tighter.
The $22 million that's in the governor's budget is, I'm thinking about when the original hospital money was in the budget and then it came out. Right. Remember that?
Sure.
Is that $22 million set?
I think it's safe. I think it's something that, there's different, certainly there's different pots of money and throughout that budget for different tourist attractions and facilities around the state. So nobody wants one coming out, because then if one comes out, they all come out. So I think the hospital is a little unique in that it was kind of out there by itself. So this is a lot different.
You were in Albany, were you not, for the governor's budget message?
I was.
What did you come away with? What was your overall feeling? My feeling was, while there was a great deal of growth and things happening, I was very concerned about an emphasis of downstate. I've been saying for the last couple months since the election, while the governor has been good to our area, and while we've worked closely on some many areas of governmental and economic development, my concern for these next 2 years, I guess, is that the state legislative bodies are so heavily slanted downstate. So while the governor can propose certain things, there's still a big downstate power hub that has now wrestled the state Senate away from the Republicans. And it's not a party thing, and because I can work with either party. It's a geographic thing. It's the geographic imbalance that upstate has lost a lot of the power in the majority. Not so much in the assembly, but still the assembly is still heavily balanced towards New York City. And when the governor talked, he talked a great deal about the MTA and about the number of the millions of dollars that have to go into that system, the Long Island Railroad and things like that. And the upstate infrastructure was kind of an afterthought or a side piece. I'm concerned about that because we have infrastructure that desperately needs repair and needs an injection of dollars upstate. So I look at that. I look at some of the other issues that are predominantly downstate, more so in terms of social and the like, and have some serious concerns about a couple of his proposals. Okay, when we come back, we got lots more to talk about with the county executive. Short break, right back.